Welcome back, VC. Welcome to the 9th installment of my Audiophile series. I'm going to feature Art Blakey in this series. He's one of my absolute favorite jazz drummers. So let's start off actually with George Benson, Breezin'. And this is a Friday music pressing. And to be honest with you, I would not spend the extra money. The original pressing, very well recorded. It's an audiophile sounding pressing to begin with. I believe this was probably cut from a digital file. There's really nothing to gain by purchasing this pressing. I got it on clearance, so I just kind of added it to my collection. But this is just a classic George Benson album. I think this might be his biggest selling album. Of course, the title track was a huge hit. Excellent guitar playing, so tasteful. What you'd come to expect from George Benson. The next one is by Art Blakey, The Freedom Rider. And this is a Vinyl Me Please pressing. Great pressing. Fantastic album. Actually, Art Blakey started out on piano and then switched to drums. By his teens, he was playing out professionally. By 16, he was leading a local big band, and he would be a band leader for the next 30 years. Just a very influential artist. The title track is really incredible. It's a 7.5-minute drum solo. Not what you would expect when you hear of a drum solo. It's nuanced, it's dynamic, it's almost melodic in a way. Art's playing is so tasteful, it's powerful, and then he drops the snare, and it's just kind of rudimentary on the toms. It's just, you can hear him moaning, kind of a signature of his playing. Kind of reminds me of Glenn Gould when he played the piano. Just a great album. In the early 50s, Art went to Africa to study music and culture. I believe he stayed there for a couple years, came back to the States, converted to Islam. Then in 1954, Art, along with Horace Silver, formed the Jazz Messengers, and he would continue that group for many years. And so many classic musicians came from that group, Wayne Shorter being one. Just so many of Miles' musicians started with Art Blakey, just really influential. And he, again, along with Horace, forged out hard bop. Just incredible, really influential. Next album is by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Just Cookin'. And this is a Blue Note 80th or classic series. The next one is Drum Suite. And this is on Impex, and this is a numbered copy, 800 out of 2500. If you love drums, percussion, get this album. It's amazing. I'm just going to read you the first paragraph from the back. As preparations for a test run for the drum suite began, the area in Columbia's studio was filled with excitement. Joe Jones and Art Blakey moved over to their respective drums. Candido and Sabu picked up their bongos. Ray Bryant sat down at the piano, and Oscar Pettiford got set with his bass and cello. Meanwhile, Charles Wright sat down behind a set of drums with timpani on one side and a gong on the other. All of them had various smaller instruments near at hand. At the end of the test run, everyone sat down to listen to the playback, and that was it. No retakes were needed except for the vocal passages. It took the fellows a little longer to master the Swahili dialect. All the chanting was done by the percussionists. No arrangements were used. Just amazing how proficient these players were. To be able to create this album in one take is just phenomenal. Again, if you love drums, buy this album. This is a tone poet, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Roots and Herbs. Art Blakey, Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Bobby Timmons, Walter Davis Jr., and Jimmy Merritt. All-star lineup. This is a Music Matters pressing, Stone Classic, The Big Beat. Similar lineup with Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Bobby Timmons, Jimmy Merritt, and of course Art Blakey. just a masterwork. This is another Music Matters pressing. Tina Brooks, True Blue, Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, Duke Jordan on piano, beautiful pressing. This is a 200-gram classic records pressing on super vinyl. Tina Brooks, Back to the Tracks, with Lou Mitchell on trumpet, Jackie McLean alto sax, Paul Chambers bass, Kenny Drew piano, Art Taylor drums. Another tone poet introducing Kenny Burrell. Great rhythm section on this album. Candido again on congas and Kenny Clark on drums. Tommy Flanagan piano. Excellent album. Fuego, Donald Byrd. Again, this is a classic records pressing, 200-gram YX vinyl. These sound absolutely amazing. Thanks again for tuning in. Stay safe.